You don't have a discipline problem, you have a distraction problem, and it's slowly destroying your life. Without you even noticing it. It doesn't feel dangerous. That's what makes it so powerful. Because it doesn't hit you all at once. It happens in small moments. You wake up, and the first thing you do is check your phone, just for a second, then another. Then suddenly, 20 minutes are gone. You tell yourself it's nothing, just a quick scroll, just a little break. But those little moments are not random. They are shaping your entire life. Because every time you reach for distraction, you train your brain to escape, to avoid, to delay. And over time, that becomes your default state. You stop doing hard things, not because you can't, but because something easier is always available, something faster, something more stimulating, something that requires nothing from you. And your brain starts to prefer that, not consciously, but automatically, because it's been trained to. You didn't wake up one day and decide to lose focus. You built it, day by day, scroll by scroll, click by click, and now you can feel it. You sit down to work, and your mind drifts. You try to concentrate, and something pulls you away. You open one app, then another, then another. Not because you need to, but because you can't sit still with your own thoughts anymore. Silence feels uncomfortable, stillness feels heavy, and doing nothing feels almost impossible. So you fill the space with noise, with content, with endless stimulation. And the more you do that, the worse it gets. Because your brain adapts. It gets used to constant input, constant novelty, constant dopamine, and anything slower starts to feel boring. Even if it matters, even if it's important, even if it could change your life, it doesn't feel good. So you avoid it, and that's where the real damage happens. Not in the time you waste, but in what you don't build. Because while you're distracted, you're not thinking deeply, you're not creating, you're not improving, you're not becoming anything. You're just consuming, and consumption feels productive, but it's not. It gives you the illusion of progress without the reality of it. You watch videos, read posts, learn things, but nothing changes, because information without action is just entertainment. And your brain doesn't care. It still gets the reward. It still gets the dopamine, so it keeps choosing that path again and again until effort feels unnatural and distraction feels normal. And then you start asking yourself, why can't I focus? Why am I always tired? Why do I never follow through? But those are the wrong questions. The real question is, what have you trained your mind to do? Because your mind is not broken, it's trained. And right now, it's trained for distraction. It's trained to avoid discomfort, to escape difficulty, to chase quick rewards. And as long as that training stays the same, nothing else will change. You can try to be more motivated, you can try to push harder, you can try to force discipline, but it won't last. Because you're fighting against a system. You built yourself, and that system is strong. Stronger than motivation, stronger than willpower, because it's automatic. You don't think about it, you just do it. Reach for your phone, open another tab, check something again, even when you don't want to, even when you know it's pointless. And that's the scary part. You're not in control, not fully, because control requires awareness. And most of the time, you're not even aware you're doing it. It just happens. That's how habits work. They become invisible. They blend into your life so smoothly. You stop questioning them until one day you realize how much time has passed, how many opportunities you ignored, how many things you never finished, and you feel it. That quiet frustration, that feeling that you could be more, that you should be further, but something keeps holding you back, and that something is not external, it's internal. It's the constant need for stimulation, the inability to sit with discomfort, the urge to escape the moment things get hard. And as long as that stays, you stay the same. Because growth requires something most people avoid. Boredom, silence, focus, the ability to stay with something, even when it's not exciting, even when it's slow, even when it's difficult. That's where real change happens, not in moments of high motivation, but in moments of resistance, moments where your brain tells you to stop, to switch, to check something else, and you don't. That's where you take control back, not by doing more, but by escaping less. Because right now, you're constantly escaping from effort, from stillness, from yourself. And every escape makes it harder to return, harder to focus, harder to think clearly, harder to build anything meaningful, until your life becomes a series of interruptions, half-finished tasks, broken attention, and endless distraction. But it doesn't have to stay that way, because the same way you trained your mind, you can retrain it. Slowly, deliberately, by changing what you do in those small moments, the ones that seem insignificant but aren't. When you wake up, don't reach for your phone immediately. Sit in silence, even if it feels uncomfortable, especially if it feels uncomfortable. When you work, remove what pulls your attention away, not just physically, but mentally. Decide what matters and stay with it. When you feel the urge to check something, pause. Don't act on it instantly, just notice it. That urge is not you, it's a pattern, and patterns can be broken, but only if you see them, only if you interrupt them again and again, until your mind starts to change, until focus becomes easier, until silence feels normal again, until you don't need constant stimulation to feel okay. That's when things shift, not overnight, but gradually. Your thoughts become clearer, your actions become more intentional, your time becomes more valuable, and for the first time in a long time, you feel in control. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you stopped feeding the patterns that were holding you back and started building new ones, stronger ones, ones that actually move you forward. And once you experience that, you won't want to go back. Because distraction doesn't just steal your time, it steals your potential, quietly, daily, until there's nothing left to build on. So the question is not whether distraction is affecting you, it is. The question is, how much longer you're going to let it. Because every day you continue like this, you reinforce the same patterns, the same habits, the same version of yourself. And that version will never reach what you're capable of, not because it's impossible, but because it's too distracted to try. And that's the real cost, not failure, not mistakes, but never fully showing up at all. If this hit you, don't ignore it, because awareness without action changes nothing. Start small, pay attention, notice the moments where you escape, and choose differently, just once, then again and again. Because control is not something you find, it's something you build, and it starts in the moments you usually ignore.